application.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And Eric Moses is on Zoom. He's one of the applicants as well. So you might want to maybe unmute him once we get into that.
It's time to crank it up. Yeah, go ahead, crank. Oh, we're good. It's October 23rd, 2024, 7:05 PM. Call the planning board meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the new Lot 18 subdivision, Sagamore Drive, Lake Tour Road, and Mills Lane, property owned by Luzerne Woods LLC. You're going to be first tonight.
Do a roll call.
Yes, please.
John Krimsky,
Here.
Barbara Conway. Here. Tony Springer.
Here.
Josh Fisher.
Here.
Howard Schaefer. Nope, he's not here. Francis Martindale's not here yet either. Michael Panich.
Here.
Rosalba's not here. Pam is not here. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We got the big man. You got a big man. Yep, we got a big man. Yeah, there's 3 of them. Okay,
Legal, yeah, legislation.
who's going to speak at the podium?
Good evening, Brandon Ferguson from Environmental Design Partnership. I'm here tonight with Mike Roman, who's one of the applicants, and Eric Moses is on Zoom as well.
Sorry, could I get your name again?
Brandon Ferguson?
No, your,
Oh, him?
Yeah. Michael Roman.
thank you.
So we were here, I think last time in April, where we had review and approval of the concept subdivision plan. So kind of just, it's been a little bit, so I'll kind of touch base on everything. The project site is about 33 acres located off the eastern side of Sagamore Drive. It's got frontage on Lake Tour Road, as well as comes off the end of Milrose Lane. It's currently consists of 7 separate lots that combine to make the 33 acres. And it's located in the Hamlet Residential District. We are proposing an 18-lot single-family subdivision, so all single-family dwellings. 2 with direct access off of Sagamore Drive, 4 with access from a new dead-end road off of Lake Tour Road, and then 12, which would be accessed from an extension of Milrose Lane. So the proposed roads have been designed to town standards for 60-foot right-of-way, 28-foot pavement width. We have a cul-de-sac at the end of Milrose Lane, and then the other 2 roads would end in a hammerhead turnaround that would allow for plow trucks and emergency vehicles to maneuver. The building lots have all been shown on the plans, building locations. So kind of like we kind of did like building envelope areas for each lot. The remaining lands would be deed restricted. So anything outside of the kind of general building area of each lot would be deed restricted lands that would remain open space. With those deed restrictions, what we were trying to do was maintain buffers to the lots within the subdivision as well as to the neighboring parcels and maintain areas that would stay wooded and undeveloped. Each lot will contain an individual wastewater system, so we'll have septic systems on each lot, and we are proposing an extension of town water to serve this project. So we would do a water line coming off of Sagamore Drive, looping down Milrose Lane, and then actually looping back up to Sagamore, create a loop there. And then stubs off of that to serve the homes to the south, and then a stub off of the water main on Lake Tour Road to serve the 4 lots off of there. Stormwater management. We designed stormwater management on the site to collect and treat the stormwater in accordance with New York State DEC regulations. This site, as it exists now, is like a big bowl, essentially, where all the water kind of goes down to the middle of the lot to a low point. So stormwater runoff from the roads and lots would get collected within roadside swales and ditches and conveyed to infiltration devices that would infiltrate that water into the ground. We do have a multi-use path that would extend throughout portions of the site. This would be something that would allow for the residents of this neighborhood to kind of either use for pedestrian or for golf carts to access each other, maneuver around the neighborhood essentially. These would be stone, dust, or mulch. Right now, like I said, we have concept subdivision plan approval from this board. We did get an APA non-jurisdictional determination, and we just got that updated.
I made copies for everyone of the
Yeah,
updated
it came in
one.
yesterday with the most current set of plans that you guys have in front of you. We have a no effect letter on archaeological resources from New York State Office of Park Recreational or Historic Places. We got a no impact letter from U.S. Fish and Wildlife for endangered species as well. So we're here tonight for preliminary subdivision review. Open it back up to the board if you guys have any questions.
I have a couple questions. These extra pathways for
Mike, can you pull your mic down a little bit?
so I have a couple questions. The first being regarding the trail pathways. You've mentioned stone dust or mulch. Is there a direction you're heading in one way or the other? Because I think that stone dust technically is impervious, whereas mulch is permeable, and there's stormwater implications depending on which
Yeah.
you choose.
Yeah, so in our stormwater design, we included them as impervious.
Okay.
And the detail on the plans right now is stone dust.
Stone dust.
Mulch could be an option when they construct it as well, but
Yeah.
yep.
And the other question, and I'll look to you for clarification. The water main connection that you're proposing is labeled as 8-inch and it's connecting to an existing 6-inch. Are there any implications to having the two pipe sizes not be the same in terms of, the having a negative effect on the existing water main and the communities being served with that, and then there's a larger pipe going towards this subdivision? Are there any issues with that?
So that 8-inch main is now the industry standard for water main. So water is regulated by what's called 10-state standards in New York State Department of Health. And 8-inch for public water main is actually typically required now. So 6 inches would be undersized. But what we're doing is we're actually looping it through. So the water main would come through, go along Milrose Lane and the extension and back up to Sagamore. So that 8-inch water main would loop through, allowing actually would improve pressures and flows in the area to some degree. We didn't, haven't figured out how much it would.
Right.
The pressures there are actually pretty good right now.
Okay,
But yeah, it wouldn't have any negative impact in that manner.
very good.
Are there any indications they're going to put any fire hydrants up that way?
Yeah, so we do have hydrants on the plan for throughout the subdivision at the spacing required.
I'm not part of the board, but I'm gonna go back again to the number of lots. The latest letter again from APA now is saying 20 lots. You said 18. Where is this discrepancy coming from?
So they count the rows as lots.
Which is what I said to you on
Yeah.
the phone.
So yeah, while it's 18 single family lots, they count the road right away. Each is a lot for whatever reason. So there's this right away between the Milrose Lane and Road B is combined, that right away. So that's one extra lot getting to 19, and then the road coming off of Lake Tour Road would be the 20th.
Okay,
So they count those as lots, even though they're not
building lot.
building lots. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was confused by that as well. The one letter kind of had 21. They kept kind of changing that
Yeah.
number, but I did clarify that where they got the 20.
Okay.
Is this going to be an HOA?
So we're not looking, we don't want to do an HOA right now. We would be looking to turn the roads over to the town. And then, because the water line is going to run along them anyways and need some kind of easement from them as well. And then with the new plan for the lots, before we had open space. Now we're going to deed restrict. It'll still be open space, but the lot lines would extend to the property boundaries of the parcel, but there would be deed restrictions over areas, so you can't develop there.
So who's gonna maintain the walkways?
So the
and trails?
walkways, we do like a maintenance agreement between the owners that would be in their deeds.
Did you say you were not having a homeowners association?
The plan at this time is not having homeowners. Yeah.
But you do have the 28-foot wide roads, which is what we require.
Right.
Yeah, they're required the same private or public, but yeah, they do meet town road standards. Yeah.
John, do you know if there's been any discussion at the town board level in terms of if they're willing to take over the roads if offered?
No, I don't think we've approached the town yet at all, have we, about the road?
About the roads now.
Okay.
I just know in meetings with the town, they
Hey,
talk,
John. John. Are you up? Can I have my phone?
Who is speaking?
I don't think she's talking. I think she's talking to someone in.
Oh, okay.
one of the requirements, but yeah, was the 28-foot road, and it sounded like our person is in charge of the roads, that's what he wanted, and he would go with it, but we still have to go through him and get it approved through the town, but that was the main contention for any of the developments going forward. In
Mhm.
fact, they didn't want to go with it unless it was 28, and which yours, you guys are.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a problem, but we probably should, we have to go through the town. to make sure
No,
that-
yep, that's fine. Yeah, no, we understand that. And that's why we're here tonight is kind of discuss that. But that would be our preferred option right now.
Is it a 20-foot road and 4 foot on each side gravel? shoulder?
there-
Or is it an actual 28-foot road?
I think it's actually 28. I gotta look at it. It's been a little while, but it's a 14-foot travel lane, so 28-foot total width
Okay.
on from pavement width, pavement edge. to pavement edge.
Pavement, okay. Because I know we had discussion before in a 20
Being left.
foot and then 2
undeveloped,
4
they're
foot on
going
each
to
side.
incorporate those.
Yeah, we followed the town road standard
I
for
believe
the
we
roadway, so it's the
did
28-foot, and then you get a
Crosswalk
3-foot
and
rubble shoulder and then the swale.
Right,
Yeah.
or-
I remember the beginning of the road too, which probably wasn't yours.
You
You were
better
gonna
have 'em
continue that
explain that.
28-foot right to the, it's on your map that way.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, and the cul-de-sac at the end was designed in accordance with the town subdivision regulations for town roads as well.
Could you explain again about the lots and how you are planning to address the land that is supposed to be conserved?
So it would be through deed restrictions. So on the subdivision plan, we show all the deed restricted open space. And then when the lots are developed, it'd be in their deed and showing on the maps that are filed with the county that those areas are deed restriction, meaning they can't be developed. And then, I know we had before some notes about tree clearing, as in you can take out dead or dying trees, but no like tree, clearing for more lawn area, that kind of thing. So there'd be restrictions on what they could do on that property, on the remaining lands. They
Yeah,
would
who
restrict
usually
any development
Right
on it.
here.
polices that sort of thing and like, what's the recourse if someone breaks that restriction?
I don't know, we're discussing it now. Go ahead, Mary.
Will the dark green areas have separate tax map numbers, or will they be part of the surrounding subdivision?
They'd
They
be,
have their own tax map number.
no, they'd be part of the individual lots, right? So the lot lines would extend to the boundaries of the property overall, the overall project site.
Yeah.
And then the green areas would be deed restricted, so they would be,
So they would own the whole entire lot. It's just that the area would not be able to be developed or cleared.
So the neighbors, if there's no HOA, it's up to the neighbors to police that through a civil litigation essentially.
yeah, and these, I mean, on the filed subdivision map that would be at the county as well as the town, it would show those deed restriction areas as well. So it'd show what areas would and wouldn't be allowed to be developed.
So if someone were to cut trees where they're not supposed to cut trees, that's a civil matter. It would not be a zoning matter once that subdivision is approved.
Correct. If it's in the deed as a restriction, then no, you have no authority over that.
And keep in mind, there's some good terrain in
Does that
some of those
answer your-
areas, so it's kind of difficult to build anyways naturally.
Does that answer your question, Michael?
It does. Not in the happiest of manners, but.
I mean, that's always a condition you can put on this subdivision approval. And that way it is up to the town.
What
It
would be,
won't just be part of deed restrictions, it could be part of a conditional approval.
Find them if they,
At that point, yes. But I guess they'd have to find the individual property owners, it'd be like a code violation, essentially.
And if someone was putting in a structure, it'd have to go for the building department. Practically, so really what it comes down to is just someone wanting to get in there and do clearing.
I mean, even if they were, you know, a separate tax parcel owned by an HOA, at that point, it'd be essentially the HOA policing it.
Mhm.
As well,
Still a
so.
civil matter.
So I see we have two roads, Road A and B, and then two of the lots 3 and 4, they'll be through Sagamore Street, no actual road. That, it'll be just their driveway, correct?
Yeah, just driveways off of Sagamore Street, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have a question about, should the town or should we, as the planning board, have our own engineer look at this, or is this sufficient, or what's the protocol, since we've never gotten this far with anything so far at this point?
You can have your engineer review it if you feel that it's a good idea.
Evergreen. And,
So you have in the past had Cedarwood look at.
Yes, we have.
Your subdivisions
Yeah,
that were in front of you last year.
and we probably, before we do anything too, is need the town to actually approve the fact that they want to take care of the roads,
or we could
Where is it?
conditionally approve it.
or no?
I mean, that's up to that. If the town doesn't take over the roads, I mean, that's up to them to figure out. how those will be-
It sounds like that's what they want at this point.
Yes, I understand that, but they're two separate issues.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can definitely start having those discussions with, the town, highway superintendent. About that.
it will be the town board that approves that in the end.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would that be a condition based upon planning? Or
the other one was.
Go to town
considered
board.
APA, correct?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why we had the engineer look at it, because it was not in the APA. Right, so the other one was not in the APA, and that's why we had the engineer review it, because we didn't.
No, we had the engineer review it to make sure that all of the curves and the slopes and the stormwater and all of that met the standards that it had to meet.
But it was not. in
The other
APA.
one was not in
Was not in
APA.
the APA,
The Evergreen Estates one was not in
right,
APA. The Tom Reed one that we started and he withdrew was in the APA. So you've had it both ways.
yeah.
But in both cases, we had the town engineer review them. Actually, the town engineer worked on the secret stuff as well.
Yes, that's right.
I just want to bring up something because I know it's going to come up eventually. As far as the deeds that are recorded on the last page of the Schedule A description, where it goes into the easement for the roadway so that they can use the lake, I believe.
Okay, yeah, yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sure. You have it. Maybe not, maybe not, maybe not. You may not have it.
Well, I'll just read it out loud. Together with an easement for ingress and egress over such portion of the existing roadway owned by Lake Wheelan or it's hers and assigns to the beach located at Lake Luzerne, Luzerne westerly of lot number 27, as shown on the map, second section of Sagamore Heights on Lake Luzerne, dated the 29th of August, 1956, and the 28th day of November, 1968, in the office of the Warren County, together with the right to use said beach to bathe in the water of Lake Luzerne. And that's for all these lots. And I believe, is it Eric Moses that owns the property?
Yeah, Eric owns it. It's an easement for people in general public, to access.
I was gonna say, he already has an easement for the general public,
It's
correct?
there and it exists for some of the houses that are obviously there now.
Okay.
It's not formally a part of this subdivision. So just to be
Right.
clear.
And I guess my question for my lawyer is this in any way something we can restrict or not restrict? Because I'm sure this part, okay. Well, there were several people who approached me about that. That's why I asked.
Wait, so that language is in the deed.
Yes.
That's in the existing, I believe that's in the existing deeds or
yeah.
some of these lots, but it's in deed for a lot of the parcels in this area as
It has
well.
nothing to do with what you're, this deed.
Has nothing to do with this subdivision, correct?
Okay, no, you cannot.
So it's not something the planning board can say you can't.
The only person who can extinguish that easement or grant it further is Luzerne Woods. The town
Okay.
cannot tell them to do that.
I know that was a big point of contention going forward with this back in April by some people, but I just wanted to clear that up. So. Right, and there's nothing unless they change it, the planning board or,
Private property rights.
okay.
The town cannot.
Do you guys have electric utilities on the plans at all?
This land.
We don't, so electric, the way that typically works is once we get an approved plan, this is the way National Grid works nowadays.
Uh-huh.
Once you get an approved plan, you send it to them and they do their layout based on that approved plan,
Gotcha.
but they won't even really look at it until you
Are you
have
able
an approved
to
project.
Direct intention at all in terms of like
They can-
underground
but they can-
versus overhead wires and that sort of thing?
It's all up to them in the end. A lot of it's overhead in this area. They'd probably be overhead,
Yeah.
but it's,
There's only, I think they only give you a certain much from the road into the house and then it goes over. So
Gotcha.
it will be controlled by them.
Okay.
But once we have that, we can file, provide for records.
yeah, they do all the planning on that. It's, they have all to say.
Gotcha.
Clarify. So are all these lots gonna have the access to that beach right away on the lake?
I mean, that's up to Eric. I mean, he's the owner of that.
Yeah, I mean,
Luzerne Woods.
we're not trying to limit people from obviously using it. It's just, it's not part of this project. There, what the language is there now and how it supports what's around there will still
It's a
remain.
huge selling point.
So, yeah, absolutely. So, again, the whole thing with doing this is we're not trying to cause aggravation. People still are gonna be able to maintain it. I think at the end of the day, from Eric's perspective and mine, it's just as long as it's not abused, we're fine with it. And, our goal is to try to enhance it down the road maybe and stuff, but it's there for the public. And I think unless there's an issue with it being abused, then I think that's a situation that would be addressed, but I don't foresee that. So I hope people can use it and enjoy it.
No, it's a public lake. There's many,
Yeah.
many points to access the lake, so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And part of these pedestrian paths and stuff, right, throughout this subdivision are kind of important just to connect the community and throughout the area, but then also down to the lake as well, so.
But that's why I was asking if you had an HOA to maintain those throughout the years.
We talked about it. We feel it's better just to leave it onto the residents. We'll establish what the baseline is for that and control it.
Is there any restriction? You mentioned that you're envisioning people like having golf carts to tool around the little subdivision here. Are there any restrictions on like those golf carts going on to the streets to get down to the waterfront? Or is it not an issue foreseeable?
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know either. That's something that we would have to look
We're not,
into.
yeah, I really don't want to promote that parking down there.
Right,
So-
but it's just
Pedestrian would be.
looking ahead, if people actually do end up
Yeah.
having golf carts to use on these golf carts paths,
Right.
what's to stop them from going beyond the.
And we.
Any
control-
vehicle that goes on the road has to be registered and
And
insured.
If we feel like.
So-
it's an
Pretty
issue.
sure they could drive.
They're really designed for pedestrian use is what I want to say.
Just a question.
You look
We
at
don't
it.
answer that. I think.
Yeah.
we should just go back.
We don't know the answer.
I like posing and not answering. Exactly.
Just call them walking fast.
Well,
Johnny leading in any direction?
Well, according to our plan here, we've studied the preliminary plat, which we've done. Anybody have any questions about it?
Not anymore?
The APA, what'd we come up with that?
Well, the last letter that I gave you today, it's
Okay.
still non-jurisdictional to them.
So that's good. The seeker,
I think that's Peter Woodward, not me.
okay.
The environmental assessment part of it.
So rather than, well, stormwater plan we received, the SWIP. So at this point, we're down to referral to the town engineer for review.
Can we approve under the condition that it's approved by the town engineer to not hold stuff up or?
No,
Oh.
that's what I was gonna say.
If the application is complete or not, we have to set a public hearing. You don't, I'm sorry. You have to have a public hearing at some point. You don't have to.
I was gonna say, because we have to do the seeker. Yeah.
But yes, you have to have it within 62 days of when I received it in the office. So
Right.
that brings us to next month.
So can we accept the application with an engineer review? No,
That'll come after your.
but we can accept the application and then still
Subject
request
to.
an engineer review
Yes,
and set up a public hearing
correct,
while the engineer is reviewing it.
correct.
And then as far as the roads, do we need to have a separate meeting with the town prior to? Or for the town board, or is that after? Is there a sequencing required for that?
The road is, I really can't answer that.
Okay.
If I were you, I would reach out to Ron Dool and he can certainly come in my office and look at the plans if that's what he wants to do. And
Okay.
then you will be approaching the town board eventually and asking them if they are willing to take over the road and the storm or the stormwater, because they don't have to do both. They can do one or the other. It depends,
Okay.
or neither. And then that discussion starts and at some point, they'll either tell you yes or no.
Okay.
Okay?
That's not our rec for you guys.
No,
Because
we
regardless of
continue
what
to-
happens, if it's the town or us, obviously,
right.
those are the two options. Okay.
What's
Yeah,
that?
we've had discussions with Ron about the water line, so we can start talking with him about the area as well.
The one question I have had, people have asked me, this development is getting quite a bit of attention. And one of the questions that was brought to me is the fact that Milrose Lane, the access on Milrose Lane right now is not a very good road.
Mhm.
And I know that we had talked before about it and you said you were willing to talk with the town about improving that access
Yeah,
at Milrose Lane. So that conversation maybe needs to be done while you're talking to Ron about taking over the roads as well.
yeah, and we took a look at the roads a little closer as well. Already and kind of came up with kind of on these preliminary plans.
I guess that
Improvements that we can talk to him about as well.
from what I'm hearing in the winter, the snow removal is creating an issue where they stop and start and push all the snow.
Mhm.
So just be aware of that when you're talking with him on this.
Yeah, and this extension will actually help that,
Yeah.
because now they're gonna be able to continue to plow all the way down.
Especially when they make
to the
that turn,
cul-de-sac.
that snow carried and
Yeah.
be spread along the remaining
Okay.
new
But
road.
yeah, we'll talk around about it and start that discussion.
All right, I just wanted you to be aware of that. And
thank you.
you had mentioned before about
Mhm.
talking to the town about improving that part of it.
Yep.
So,
I'll make the motion to accept the application and approve it.
I'll second.
okay, hold on. Mike? I'm gonna do roll call. John Karinsky,
Yes.
Barbara Conway,
Yes.
Tony Springer,
Yes.
Josh Fisher,
Yes.
Howard's not here. Michael Panich,
Yes.
Francis Martindale.
Yes.
That's it. So the motion is carried.
I need to make a motion for the engineer to review it. Okay, I need to make a motion for the town engineer to review, sorry. My doesn't work. You got it, right? I'll make a motion for the town engineer to review.
I'll second.
Again, roll call. John Krimsky,
Yes.
Barbara Conway,
Yes.
Tony Springer.
Yes.
Francis Martindale. Josh Fisher,
Yes.
Michael Panich,
Yes.
carried. So I will contact him. You will be responsible for the cost of that review, and just so, I mean, I'm assuming you were aware of that, but.
We are, correct.
Okay.
And I'll make a motion to have a public hearing.
Oh, well, you guys set
For
the
what
date and
date?
time.
That's me.
It's the 20th of November, 7 PM, but
Now, let's just be clear on something.
Yep, it is.
Okay, that's the week before Thanksgiving. We moved
Right.
that meeting up a week
Yep.
because of Thanksgiving.
it's still
So,
4 weeks from now. So
you're right.
So I'll make a motion to have the public hearing November 20th at 7 PM meeting.
Who said, Barbara? Okay, John Krimsky,
Yes.
Barbara Conway,
Yes.
Tony Springer,
Yes.
Josh Fisher,
Yes.
Michael Panich,
Yes.
okay, carried. Oh, Francis Martindale, sorry,
Yes.
one more.
What happens when you come late?
Or when I don't read far enough down the paper.
I'm gonna say there'll be days.
So. So the seeker review, we'll have the engineer look at that and he'll have any recommendations whether to accept it as is or to ask for changes. And then do they need to declare themselves lead agency tonight?
No, because we're gonna have to do coordinated review.
But someone has to be lead agency.
Are you comfortable making those notices?
That's what
without- I
John,
know, that's what I'm asking. Or do you want him to do it?
he did it the last time. Well, he prepared them for me and then I sent them out.
Okay, so yes, if you want to be lead agency, do that tonight so we can have the 30-day.
I make the motion that we're lead agency.
I second.
Where is it? Tony Springer, Michael Panich.
Appreciate that.
We have 30 days between now and the next meeting? No.
Yeah, we do. We have 28 days right now. Yes, it's exactly 4 weeks from today.
Because we moved the next meeting up a week because of Thanksgiving.
24th and we're having the meeting on the 20th.
Right, 28 days. Remember, there's 31.
Today's the 23rd.
So that's 30 days.
No, let's see. No, it's gonna be just 28.
28 days, 4 weeks.
So we need 30, need 30 days to get a response from all the people who could want to be lead agency.
So don't do this one tonight? What do we do?
Wouldn't it be worse if we held off on, we should declare it now, and then by December at least we'll be able
Even
to.
though we're having a Public hearing next month, you're not going to be able to close it.
Okay, so,
Because
But-
we're gonna need 30 days to let those agencies respond.
Better to get it in the hopper now than to hold off.
I
Given,
guess just
the
be aware that
agencies.
they can't close the public hearing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
try to be expedient as we can.
No, we're not building. So then the next meeting in December, you would then close it and then.
I'm
you
not
could-
promising you they'll close it, but they could.
They could, correct. And then you could continue from that, like, first part of the meeting, you could address the public meeting, close it. And move forward then to a motion, should
Correct.
you feel fit.
Yep.
Okay,
And they'll go through the secret process at that point.
correct, yeah. No, I think that's fair. Good.
So we need to roll call vote on the declaration of lead agency.
We can't have one or.
You are declaring yourselves lead agent, I think, is what the motion was.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
John Karinsky,
Yes.
Barbara Conway,
Yes.
Tony Springer,
Yes.
Francis Martindale,
Yes.
Josh Fisher,
Yes.
Michael Panich.
Yes.
Okay, never mind. It's a clerical issue over here on my end. That's why they're messed up. It's okay. I know what it is now. I've got them out of order. I think that's
All right,
it for
perfect.
tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
guys
you
very
for coming
much.
out.
See you next month.
Yep. For the 20th at 7 PM.
Thank you.
That's for all the board members too. We
Yeah.
did, well, actually, January changed everything. Hi, babe. Kevin, Hannah. Step on up to the podium, please.
Kevin, I wanted to give you the packet that they have in front of them.
We all set, Karen?
I think so.
Do you want to say anything before we?
Kevin can speak for himself, but he has he owns a property on East River Drive that has a farmhouse on it and he leases it out and the people that are there have livestock there. It's a pretty large piece of property. And your cover sheet says 4.43 acres, but in actuality, it's 40.54 acres. Let's make that correction right now. That's me in my typing. And what he is proposing to do is move his construction equipment up to this property. As in your packet with all of the pictures of the land, you'll see that the house sits right down by the road. And he's got an area cleared where he had it logged up, down the road a little bit and up the hill. And he wants to put this storage building up there to house all of his construction equipment. So because of the size of the building, I couldn't call it accessory to the single family home. And so we looked for a way for him to be able to do this. And the way for him to be able to do it is to say that it's his contracting business. He needs a special use permit for that, and that this building is going to be built to house his equipment there. And it's far enough away from the house that he'll be able to meet all of the setbacks without any issues.
Does the 29-foot height, is that,
It's because it's considered a
issue?
principal building. For this use, it's like a second use on the land. A principal building can be up to 38 feet high.
okay. Kevin, are any of your neighbors aware of your intentions?
Well, I own the property across the street, and the property behind this lot, I own another 48 acres, so I'm gonna be 500 feet off the road, nobody will even see the project.
The property across the street, that's the one with the red barn on it?
Right, well, to the left of the red barn.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to build some sort of road to get entrance to this.
So right now, there's already a gate there that when we logged it probably 5 years ago,
Uh-huh.
you know, so it's already has been accessible for the last 5 years.
Okay.
Now, on a special use permit, you have to have a public hearing. You can't waive it. You have to have one. And just so that you're aware, in your packet, I have already done the county referral, and they came back with no significant intercommunity or countywide impact. He has a short environmental form in your file, which you will have to go through at some point. And that parcel is not in the Adirondack Park, so he was not required to do a jurisdictional inquiry with them.
So would the next step be to call for a public hearing?
Well,
Even though it has that amount of property, we still have to have a public hearing.
Special use permits require a public hearing, and on your use table in there, you will see that a contracting business is a special use permit.
Yeah,
This-
what's the size restriction for an accessory structure?
For a single family home, I'm not gonna speak without looking it up. You did bring your book in. Hold on.
18 foot is-
I think it's 18
18
foot.
feet high.
Well, the height restriction is 18 feet high.
Oh, okay.
Okay, is that what you're asking?
I didn't know even know the square footage was, but.
Square footage wise, in the section for accessory buildings, it doesn't give a limit
Yeah,
on
It
it.
just says 8.
But when you get back into the definition of principal buildings, which is where I'm headed right now, there's something in there about accessory buildings, so let me just find that. Principal buildings. Let's see, any other structure which, they list all the what are principal buildings. Any other structure which exceeds 1,250 square feet of floor space constitutes one principal building. A structure containing a commercial use, which is also used as a single-family dwelling, constitutes one principal building. Then there's this one little line here that says an accessory structure does not constitute a principal building. So to be quite honest with you, what I've used as my guideline is if someone comes in with a garage that's 1,250 square feet or less, it's an accessory structure. If it ends up being more than that, I have to then dig and look and try to figure it out. Okay, but that's why we went to the contracting business for you, because of the size of this building and because I felt it constituted as a principal building because of the size of it. Because it's a little less than 8,000 square feet or something, I think.
yeah, okay.
Could you just tell me, because I know that area, exactly where you're gonna build this, I know where your house is.
Yeah.
On East River Drive,
Yep, so just south of that farmhouse is there, probably another,
that red one.
not the barn across the street, the old shoe house, the White House. So directly across from the farm.
Where all the animals are. And you're doing, and you're
Be shorter on the small.
the world that the farm animals are.
Yep, so I own that house.
Okay.
So down the road from there, south of that, probably about 300 feet.
Okay.
I have another clearing and then we're gonna go up the hill.
Okay, I've seen that clear.
But that's the bottom that you see clear. You won't see where we're going though. If you look to where that bottom was cleared, where you kind of had the logging site set up,
Yep.
there's a road to the left of that.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna be up on that plateau up there.
Okay. I'm just trying to. What about like warehouse stores and? Look, in the zone that he's in there, I don't think it's allowed.
If there's nothing there,
If
Like where-
nothing is there, it's not allowed.
if there's nothing there, it's not allowed. So what is it? in S?
He's in RT.
So an S is site plan review, right?
S is site
So
plan,
self-storage units would be site plan. review.
but it's not a self-storage unit. That would be if you're renting them out. Self-storage unit, the way they're defined in the definition. The only one we could get it to fit was contracting business. So you won't even see that it's there.
You won't see anything. Yeah, it's 500 feet off the road, and then there's all the trees in front of it.
What's the outside?
What's that?
The exterior.
So it's gonna be a steel building, so it will be, my plan is to have a gray with black trim on it, the black roof, black corners and black skirting on the bottom of it. And everything else be gray.
Karen, what's the next step?
We should go through his application, see if you feel if it's complete. And then you have to set a public hearing for it. And then when you have the public hearing, you could they review the seeker tonight if they wanted? I would do the seeker review after the public hearing,
Okay.
okay?
Just set a public hearing.
We can do secret tonight if you. I was giving Karen evil eyeballs earlier.
Well, I think next month you might be doing another one.
Oh,
We don't have to do lead agency declaration and 30-day wait. or
No,
anything.
that's for the.
That's only for the long form.
So
What?
I don't understand why it can't be self-storage, because building a group of buildings consisting of individual self-contained units leasing to individuals, organizations.
Right there,
Leasing.
leasing too.
Or businesses. If he leased it to himself.
Now we're trying to get around the regs.
I'm just,
So.
I think it's that.
What is that?
but you really don't want to see your one.
She just want to have public hearing, right? I know, it's unfortunately, there's no way
The
around.
question I have is that if he gets it and he's doing it as a subcontract, how long does he have to stay there? What happens if in 3 years from now he decides he's not doing it anymore? The building's there, is it grandfathered in? And he can do whatever he wants with it at that point?
That's a good question, but I've been told in the past that you can't look at what ifs. You have to look
Well,
at what's in
I'm
front
just
of
saying
you.
that's a great thing, because
I mean, the plan for the building is my son will eventually take the business over. We'll be building him a house on that same property.
no, I just say with what's
Right.
going on with this,
Right.
in New York State, they're looking for cannabis places. That'd be perfect.
Oh.
There it is.
You get accept for this and then you.
I come
I
down
wasn't saying
there.
it negative. I was saying then boom, it's there.
People separated, that's why he doesn't next to me anymore. They
So
separated
Michael-
here. Yes.
Go through the seeker, yeah, the plan.
Yes, I
Okay.
would
Did
like,
everyone have a chance to go through the application? So does anyone think anything needs to be added? All right, so the short form environmental assessment form.
Do they have to accept the application first, or that doesn't matter when? Okay.
Is that okay?
Yep.
It's not technically 88 acres though, right?
no, she
He crossed it out.
Right, right.
Someone crossed it out. I don't know.
Well, on the
Oh, on there,
appendix
it
B, it
does,
still says
yeah,
88.
it is not, it's 40.54 according to.
I
the-
was just making sure.
Yep. According to the GIS maps, it's on the secret form, it's got that 88.
Confusing me.
You
We always have a lot of questions.
You said it, did we look it over?
No, just the application. Now we're going to the short form. All right, name of action or project, storage building.
That needs to be changed to
Okay.
contracting business.
That's why I'm like. "Oh, okay." All right, project location, 510 East River Drive. Brief description of proposed action, 72 by 92 storage building for Quality Builders,
Yeah, that's the name of this business.
with 12 by 92 carport. Name of applicant, telephone number, email, address is all filled out. Does the proposed action only involve the legislative adoption of a plan, local law, ordinance, administrative rule, or regulation? No. Does the proposed action require a permit, approval, or funding from any other government agency? If yes, list them. It says Warren County Building Codes. Total acreage of the proposed action is gonna go down to
40.54.
total acreage to be physically disturbed is 2. Total acreage owned or controlled by the applicant or project sponsor.
He has an adjoining parcel to this, which is 88, so yes,
So it'd be 88 plus 40 for the total there?
it's totally
Yeah,
88,
40
correct?
and the 48 behind it.
Okay.
Check all land uses that occur on, adjoining, or near the proposed action. Residential is the only thing checked. Anyone think anything else should be checked? Okay. Is the proposed action a permitted use under the zoning regulations? Yes. Is it consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan? Yes. Is the proposed action consistent with the predominant character of the existing built or natural landscape? Yes. Is the site of the proposed action located in or does it adjoin a state-listed critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in a substantial increase in traffic above present levels? No. No public transportation available at or near the site of the proposed action. No pedestrian accommodations or bicycle routes available on or near the site of the proposed action. The proposed action does not meet or exceed the state energy code requirements.
You required to insulate that building?
No.
Probably not.
No,
You're not gonna heat it?
not at this present time, no.
The proposed action will not connect to an existing public-private water supply. The proposed action will not connect to an existing wastewater utility. Does the site contain a structure that is listed on either the state or national register of historic places? No. Is the proposed action located in an archaeological sensitive area? No. Does any portion of the site of the proposed action or lands adjoining the proposed action contain wetlands or other water bodies regulated by a federal, state, or local agency? No. Would the proposed action physically alter or encroach onto any existing wetland or water body? No. Habitats,
Back to that question about the wetlands. I believe that there's a stream that goes through the back part of where the house and the animals are, correct?
I think it just gets a little wet, but we
Yeah,
looked on the map.
Yeah, we looked at the map. It wasn't designated as any wetland right there on the map. It is wet in that area, but this is so far away from it that I just wanted to clarify that this portion is not wetland at all. Not designated on the maps.
identify the typical habitat types that occur on or are likely to be found on the project site. Forest is the only thing checked. Does the site of the proposed action contain any species of animal or associated habitats listed by the state or federal government as threatened or endangered? No. Project is not located in a 100-year flood plan.
Blaine.
Blaine. Can I get through this? Will the proposed action create stormwater discharge either from point or non-point sources? No. Does the proposed action include construction or other activities that result in the impediment of water or other liquids? No. Has the site of the proposed action or an adjoining property been the location of an active or closed solid waste management facility? No. Has the site of the proposed action or an adjoining property been the subject of remediation for hazardous waste? No. All right, so now it's part 2. And remember, the choices are no or small impact may occur, or moderate to large impact may occur. Unless someone speaks up, I'm going to check no or small impact may occur. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation? Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies or public or private wastewater treatment utilities? Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? Will the proposed action result in any adverse change to natural resources? Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? So based on the fact that no or small impact was determined for every consideration, someone should make a motion that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, hold on.
Are you running power to this? Will there be power run to this building?
Yeah, there will be power.
I want to talk to you after.
Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call. John Krimsky,
Yes.
Barbara Conway.
Yeah.
Tony Springer,
Yes.
Francis Martindale,
Yes.
Josh Fisher,
Yes.
Michael Panich.
Yes.
Same day.
I will need you to sign this, John, before you leave.
As far as the public hearing. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to set the public hearing for November 20th. We said at the same time.
Yep.
7 PM.
John Krimsky,
Yes.
Barbara Conway,
Yes.
Tony Springer,
Yes.
Josh Fisher,
Yes.
Michael Panich,
Yes.
Francis Martindale.
Yeah.
We have to accept.
Let me look. Doesn't look like it.
What?
They don't have to accept it as complete. Right?
I don't think so.
It's not in the steps. I mean, you can if you want.
I'm just trying to cover our bases, but to make sure we're good.
It just says review.
So my question is, I know you talked to the last guy about the 20th, so will I get approval possibly that day, or we have to wait the 30 days?
Your case is different, so.
Okay.
I think,
Yeah,
right?
there's no coordinated review for yours, so we don't have to send notice out to the other agencies. So
Okay.
no, you,
Alright.
you could be approved
On the
next
20th.
meeting.
Okay, thank you.
This was, who, Matt Hallich, John, has his hand up. I know you don't usually let.
Go ahead, put him through.
speak, but he's,
Go ahead, Matt.
Thank you. I understand that you don't normally allow public comment during these hearings, but the question was asked at the beginning of Kevin's hearing as to whether his neighbors had been informed as to his intentions. I live directly across the street, across East River Drive from the property that we're talking about. He has informed both myself and my neighbor, Ken Wolosoff, next door, and neither one of us have any issues with what he proposes.
Okay, I think they inform you before the public hearing is when they have to do it, right? Not before the presentation to us.
No, but he has contact them, so
Oh, okay.
thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
He contacted his neighbors.
Oh, yeah,
He was saying.
I didn't know that. Okay. So next on the agenda is approval of minutes from September 25th.
Right, right on time.
Yeah, we're caught
We
up.
have to be.
Finally.
We have to be going forward. Just go to the right, Karen.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any old or new business?
Let me think for a minute. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I have been contacted after the, last month's meeting with the boundary line adjustment for Howard Schaefer and his neighbor, the Sodograns. I have been contacted quite a few times now by an engineering company that is working on that for them. Again, I'm not sure even still where it's going. Okay. Other than that, I don't have anything else at this point. Everything is town board, so that's all I have. Folk School is gonna be coming in and meeting with us next week. They had wanted to do a big addition there, and they had applied for a grant. They did not get the grant, so they've scaled down what they would like to do. And they're coming in for a meeting next week just to go over this new proposal, but that's somewhere in the future still, but that is going on.
Mary, anything? It's not old or new business. I would just like to see everybody, whether they're alternate or not, make it to the next meeting, because that public hearing is going to be very important to our decision. So if there's any way, it's the week before Thanksgiving, so I'm sure I'd like to see everybody come to the meeting if they could. Anything else down the road? Anybody else have anything? Grant, do you have any business you want to talk about?
I apologize for being late, but I'm always early, so if you see me not your recorder up, call me.
We were kind of wondering what happened.
No, there's no concert. No, I literally had a fire going out back that took forever to get started, and it was getting a little bigger than I wanted it to be, and I was out there watching it.
That was good.
Should we,
No, I am, because we have
Adjourn the
water
meeting
there that we could
officially?
spray on it, but we didn't.
do we need to adjourn the meeting officially?
Anybody else? Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,